going to continue with the malocclusion. Yeah. So first classification which you need to read about malocclusion is angles classification. So angles, I just whack. So angles, angle, what he did is he gave 4 classes. Okay, so first was normal occlusion and 3 classes of malocclusion. So you need to remember this, that angle classified in 4 classes. Okay, normal occlusion, class 1 malocclusion, class 2 malocclusion, class 3 malocclusion. There were 3 classes of malocclusion. Okay, but there was 1 class of normal occlusion as well. So these are the classes of malocclusion. What you see is, you need to understand, yeah, you need to understand this. Mesobuccal cusp falls into the groove. Here, the distal buccal cusp falls into the groove, and here the distal aspect is there. So you need to remember this. There is one more thing in angles classification is what you need to remember is in normal occlusion, the molar relationship is class 1 and all the teeth are in line of occlusion. But when you have crowding, when you have spacing, all this line of occlusion is disturbed. So what is the difference between the angles 1 normal occlusion and angles 1 malocclusion is that line of occlusion is different. Am I audible, everyone? Am I audible? Yes. Okay. Line of occlusion. Okay. So this is one thing about angles classification. Now you need to see the DV's modification. Sorry. Wait a second. Yeah. So DV's class 1 modification. So DV's modified class 1 malocclusion. So first was, there are types. First of all, you need to remember that there are types. Type 1 to type 5. 1, 2, 3, 5. So in first, how do you remember it? What is the most common thing that you can notice? Imagine teeth of late Amrish Puri. Imagine teeth of very Sushant Singh Rajput. So you can remember these 2 people, late people. So first is crowded maxillary anterior. Here is maxillary, even though you can remember it by mandibulary anterior. So TV's made the classification, made the modifications. First was crowded maxillary anterior teeth. Next was proclined maxillary anterior teeth. Third was anterior frostbite. Fourth was posterior frostbite. And fifth was mesialized molar because of early exfoliation of primary. Okay, so you need to remember these TV's class 1 modification. Type 1 is crowded maxillary anterior. Don't remember it to be mandibular, because this question has been asked in a few exams. Okay, second is proclined maxillary anterior teeth, anterior frostbite, posterior frostbite, mesialized molar due to early exfoliation of the primary molar. Next, we are going to discuss class 2 malocclusion. What is class 2 malocclusion? Class 2 malocclusion is when there is a class 2 molar relationship. Okay, so class 2 molar relationship is when the distal buccal cusp falls into the groove. Also, when there is an end-on. Okay, end-on is also considered class 2. Now, first it has two divisions, division 1 and division 2. First, we are going to discuss the division 1. What happens in class 2 division 1? So this is a typical case of a class 2 division 1 malocclusion. This is taken from internet. We can also check it out. So there is first thing that you can see is increased overjet. Okay, just look at the picture and try to find out what all features are there. So first is increased overjet. What is next thing that you can see? What is the other thing that you can see? Anyone? Let's find out if you can make out from this photograph. Lip trap, lower lip trap is there. Very good. Okay, lower lip trap. I'm going to write all these things down and I'm going to explain. Very good, Dr. Anita. Lower lip trap is there. Agar lower lip trap hoga to kya hoga? You will see puckering of the lower chin. Okay, which tells you there is an hypertonic lower lip, and mentalis muscle. What else? There is a convex profile. Very good. Convex तो दोनों में होगी. Class div 1, div 2 दोनों में convex profile. Convex profile. Very good. Next. What another thing? Can you see the teeth are visible? The upper lip is एकदम ऐसे मतलब एकदम ऐसा लग रहा है कि इसको inject कर दिया, anesthetized. Increased mentalis activity. Yes, that we covered. So there is a protruded. So the fourth point is hypotonic upper lip. Hypotonic upper lip क्यों होगा? Because the maxillary incisors are projecting outwards. So when there is increased overjet, there are proclined anterior teeth. There are proclined anterior teeth. The acute nasolabial angle, very good. There is an acute nasolabial angle as well. So I think this is done. Deep bite is not specifically the characteristic of class 2 division 1. There can be deep bite. There can be thoda sa less deep bite. Deep bite is specifically the characteristic of class 2 division 2. Okay, so class 2 division 1, we'll just revise it. What is there? There's increased overjet. There are proclined anterior teeth. Now, when the proclined teeth are anterior teeth are there, they are prone to fracture. Obviously, जब बाहर है अगर कोई गिरेगा तो they'll fall. Incompetent lips, very good. There are incompetent lips. Incompetent lips, what happens? Why there are incompetent lips? Because the teeth are proclined, so they're not letting the upper lip close. Okay, now because there is altered activity, the upper lip goes to be hypotonic and the lower lip goes to be hypertonic. There is hypertonic lower lip, there is lip trap, and there is an increased mentalis activity. So Dr. Deepika has asked, ma'am, when there are both the options, hypertonic lower lip and hypotonic upper lip, what to choose? Then that will depend on what kind of question is asked. We will like to see the question in that case. So it depends what the patient, what the examiner wants to judge, what wants to assess by that question. Okay. The other thing that I'm going to say is what kind of speech difficulty this patient can have. Speech. What kind of speech difficulty? Now, imagine these are lips like that. So upper lip is hypotonic, lower lip is hypertonic. Patient is not able to close. There is an incompetent lips are there. So the patient will not be able to touch the lips together. So the bilabial sounds are going to get affected. Bilabial sounds are ma. So these bilabial sounds are going to get affected because of the hypertonic lower lip and hypotonic upper lip. Because of the problems in the musculature of the lip, the bilabial sounds are going to get affected. Yeah. Okay. Now somebody asked me the lip problem. Lip problem क्यों होती है? Because the incisors are projecting outwards. They are not letting the lip close. Okay, so the upper lip becomes hypotonic. Hypotonic मतलब less activity, less tonicity. Upper lip becomes less and lower lip becomes more. Okay, so there is hypotonic upper lip, hypertonic lower lip, or increased mentalis activity. Okay. The next malocclusion is class 2 division 2. Class 2 division 2 में क्या होता है? Lips are beautiful. इस प्रोफाइल में देख के this girl looks beautiful. Lips have मतलब lips को कुछ नहीं होता. The lip tonicity is fine. What happens is, can you see the incisors? Can you see the incisors? The incisors are retroclined. So the first important is retroclined incisors. उसमें क्या था? Proclined था. The second most important is deep bite. Deep bite is a characteristic feature of class 2 division 2. So there are retroclined incisors, there is a deep bite. Now because of the deep bite and retroclination, the mandible is pushed backwards. So there is a backward part of mandibular closure. Mandibular closure का backward part होता है. And the fourth important point is increased column angle. Why is there increased column angle? Because the column angle is the angle between the crown portion and the root portion of the incisor. Because the incisor is tipped, there is an अगर इसकी axis बनाएंगे और इसकी axis बनाएंगे, then there will be increased column angle in class 2 division 2. Yeah, Dr. Manvi has raised hand. Yes. What is the doubt? Can you please post in the chat box? I think class 2 division 2 is clear. Dr. Manvi is questioning about hypertonic and hypertonic. I'll just go back and I'll explain what is hypertonic and hypertonic. Okay. Hypo means less. Hyper means more. Less active upper lip. Why? Because, can you see the upper lip in this patient? The upper lip is not able to close. This is why the upper lip is not able to close. This is why the tonicity goes down. This is why the class 2 division 1 has less active upper lip. Hypertonic lower lip. Why? Because lip is getting inside the incisors and it is pushing the incisors forward. There is increased mentalis activity as well. So this is why it goes to hypertonic lower lip. This is what happens in class 2 division 1 malocclusion. Please explain the column angle. Column angle will increase. आपने कहीं पे decrease पढ़ा होगा. So that is wrongly given. It is wrongly given in OB Kharbanda sir's book. Okay, I'll just show you what is normal and what is. So normally the incisors are like this. Very bad diagram. Okay, normally incisor is like this. Basically. Okay, what happens in class 2 division 1? Division 2, the incisor has an, so normally अगर देखा जाए तो it is like this, straight. लेकिन अगर class 2 division 2 में देखें तो इसकी axis में और root की axis में there is an angle which is called column angle. The angle between the axis of crown and root. Okay, the axis of crown is different and the axis of root is different, and this angle is called column angle. So column angle is increased in class 2 division 2. Okay. Now what is backward part of closure? Now incisors are tipped back, so the mandible cannot go in front of these incisors. This is why the mandible closes in a backward position. That is the backward position because of the class 2 division 2 malocclusion. This is why you need to correct class 2 division 2 malocclusion whenever you see it in the patients, because it stops the growth of mandible, and that is the primary reason. If you are able to correct the class 2, retroclination of incisors early in life, then this is going to not lead to the stopping the growth of the mandible. Now we are going to see class 3. What happens in class 3? Can you see what happens in class 3? What happens in class 3 is a class 3 molar relationship, and there is a reverse overjet. Okay. Now, what reverse overjet is there? what speech difficulty it will have? What speech difficulty? First of all, sometimes it has a bilingual problem. Sometimes when there is a lot of overjet, then it leads to bilingual. Otherwise, there is a difficulty in labiodental fricatives. प तो फ बोलने में क्या होता है? The lower teeth touch the upper lip. So because the lower teeth are forward, very forward, f, v, so ये sound नहीं निकल पाती है. This is called labiodental. Labiodental मतलब lip touches the teeth, and this is how the sound is created. Okay. Ma'am, somebody, Dr. Tasneem has asked, ma'am, reverse overjet and crossbite are the same or different? They are almost same. When you say reverse overjet, it is like for the anterior teeth, also for the posterior teeth. Crossbite is usually, it is same. They're just different terminologies. It is essentially the same. Okay. Next is devious modification. So devious modified class 1, and he also modified class 3. Now the first is edge to edge. ये कुछ books में गलत दिया है. So just clarify it. First is edge to edge. Type 1. So these are types. Type 1 is edge to edge. Type 2 is normal incisal relationship. Type 3 is mandibular incisors are ahead. Okay. Okay, so you need to remember type 1 is edge to edge, and this is wrongly given in a few books, so don't get confused. Type 1 is edge to edge only, type 2 is normal relationship, and type 3 is mandibular incisors are ahead. Next, we are going to discuss about pseudo class 3 and true class 3. What is pseudo? Pseudo means false. Which malocclusion is falsely presenting as class 3 is pseudo class 3. Now, why it happens? So, say for example, in this patient, you can see it is coming as a class 3 malocclusion. Now, this is not really a class 3, it is a pseudo class 3, and it happens because of the occlusal disturbances, occlusal interferences, and when there are occlusal interferences, the patient tries to close in habitual occlusion, which is class 3. Now, because when it is because of the occlusal interferences, it is called pseudo class 3. So whenever a patient of class 3 comes to you, the first thing that you are going to see is you're going to check the occlusion, and they're going to check the occlusion. You're going to ask the patient to bring the mandible in CR. You're going to direct the mandible, and you're going to see if it is a true class 3 or it is a pseudo class 3. It is very important for you to identify the true and pseudo. So first step is to identify the true or the pseudo nature. When it is because of the occlusal interferences, then it is a pseudo class 3. Okay. Now we're going to discuss about scissor bite. What is scissor bite? Scissor bite is, it is called complete mandibular disocclusion. When the whole tooth is this is palatally placed. Can you see this tooth? So in occlusion, this tooth is going behind the cusp of the maxillary premolar. This is called actual scissor bite. Now, what is Brodie bite? When whole of the mandible, this is Brodie bite. When whole of the mandible is contained within the maxilla, can you see the premolar ka cusp here? Can you see the premolar ka cusp here? When whole of the mandible is inside the maxilla, it is called Brodie bite. When only one tooth or 2-3 teeth are within this like this, it is called scissor bite. Questions have been asked on scissor bite, and they imply the Brodie bite. So you need to differentiate the terms. The scissor bite is only of single tooth. Brodie bite is when the whole of the mandible is contained within the maxilla. Okay. Next, we're going to discuss about the Katz premolar classification. Now, why Katz gave the premolar classification was sometimes the malar molars or canines are not really there. So you can also see the premolars. What is the beauty of this classification? You can classify according to this classification even if premolars are not there. Okay, even if premolars are not there, you can classify this classification. So what this classification says, that most anterior premolar, they are talking about not first, they're talking about the most anterior premolar, falls in the embrasure created by distal contact of the most anterior lower premolar. So most anterior upper premolar falls in embrasure created by the distal aspect of the most anterior lower premolar. So they talk about most anterior premolar. Okay, so the upper most anterior premolar falls in the embrasure created by the distal aspect of the most anterior lower premolar. Okay, now what will happen? What will happen if premolars are not there? So you take the midline. If there is no premolar, agar premolar hai nahi, so what will happen? You just take the bisection of the space. Even if premolar is not there, you can do this classification by imagining that there was a premolar. Now this was the first classification that quantified malocclusion. मतलब वो mm भी बता सकते थे कि कितना mm class 2 है, कितना mm class 3 है. So class 2 was given a positive sign and class 3 was they quantified the malocclusion. Class 2 was given a positive sign and class 3 was given a negative sign. So if Katz premolar classification says minus 4 mm, it means that the mandible is class 3, that the patient is class 3 by 4 mm. If it is plus 10 mm, it means there is class 2 malocclusion by 10 mm. Okay, so this is Katz premolar classification. Somebody wanted me to revise the Brody bite. Brody bite is when whole of the mandible contained within maxilla. When this happens only for one tooth, this is a bite. When whole of the mandible is contained within the maxilla, it is Brody bite. Katz premolar classification. In Katz premolar classification, we talk about most anterior premolar. Sorry, this is not going to be discipline. So it holds good when there is premolar extraction, when there is premolar extraction, when there is premolar absence. So most anterior upper premolar falls in the embrasure created by the distal aspect of most anterior lower premolar. Okay, when the most anterior upper premolar falls in the embrasure created by the distal aspect of the most anterior lower premolar, then it is class 1. Okay, this is class 1. Is question exam mein aaj tak kitna aaya hai? Who gave the premolar classification? So it is Katz. The second question which has come in exam is who quantified malocclusion? Katz. So class 2 is plus, class 3 is negative. Dr. Shivani has asked, what is the significance of Katz if we classify according to molar relationship? Sometimes if the molar is not present, then you can use Katz premolar classification. So Angle said that if there is even one deciduous tooth present, you cannot classify according to the Angle's classification. So you can use Katz premolar. It is according to you if you want to use Katz or not, but you need to remember it for your exam purposes. Okay. Now we're going to discuss about Simon's classification. Okay, so this is a very important classification. A lot of questions have been asked. So you need to remember this by 3 planes. So there are 3 planes. Just give me a second. So there are three planes, FH plane. FH plane is Frankfurt horizontal plane that runs from the upper aspect of the auditory meatus to the lower aspect of the eye. So this is the Frankfurt horizontal plane. Second is the orbital plane, which is this. It runs from the distal aspect of the upper canine. Okay, this is the orbital plane. And the third is the sagittal plane, which runs in the maxillary, which runs in the midline. Okay, so there are three planes, FH plane, orbital plane, and sagittal plane. Now you need to remember these terms and which plane it falls. So you need to remember these planes and these terms. So I have tried to discuss it. So I've tried to make you understand and make you remember. So FH plane is in the midline. Just imagine a magnet. So what does magnet do? Attraction. Attraction and repulsion, but there is no R word. So you need to remember this is A2, attraction and abstraction. So you remember this. Okay, I'll just open the video first so that I can make it remember. So yeah, so when you have to take the FH plane, so you take it like this, and you take it like this, okay, and you feel it like this. Okay, so this is an FH plane. Now there is going to be attraction and abstraction. Attraction means like this. It's going to get attracted like this, and it's going to go abstraction like this. So if FH plane is, you take this hand and you place it here. Now, if there are two things, if they get attracted, it would be like this. And if there is abstraction, it is going to be like this. Now think of the orbital plane. So orbital plane is here. What is protraction and retraction? Protraction is anything going forward. So I will do this. So this is an orbital plane. Anything going forward is protraction from this plane. Anything coming back is retraction from this plane. So you understand, if it is an orbital plane, this is protraction and this is retraction. Okay. Now think of a sagittal plane. What will happen in the sagittal plane? So this is the sagittal plane, right? And anything coming like this is contraction, like this is distraction. So you need to remember these words as well. So for FH plane, it is attraction and abstraction. For orbital plane, how do you remember this? So in front of the orbital plane, there are lips. Okay, so this is just a funny way to remember this. So you have to remember, you have to just think of a girl or a boy, depending upon the opposite gender, a girl or a boy coming out from sea, and you would want to kiss the guy or the girl. So you need to remember PR, that is personal relationship. So PR is for protraction and retraction. What will happen in protraction? Things will go outside. What will happen in retraction? Things will go backwards. Okay, so remember PR from the lips. This is just a funny way of remembering. Next is CD. Next is CD. This is contraction and distraction. You just imagine a CD cutting from the mid. जैसे वो final destination होता है ना, just think of it and try to remember. So CD is contraction and distraction. Now it is very important for you to relate it to the real situations. So what will happen? Sorry. So what will happen if there is attraction? If there is attraction, there will be deep bite. So if you are considering the FH plane, attraction is deep bite. Abstraction is open bite. Okay. Now considering the orbital plane, it is PR, personal relationships, which is protraction and retraction. Protraction will lead to class 2 because it is going to go ahead. Retraction is going to lead to class 3. Then there is sagittal plane. Sagittal plane, what was that? CD. CD is contraction and distraction. Contraction will lead to the what is that? Maxillary arches. हम क्या करते हैं? Expand करते हैं maxillary arches को, तो क्या होती हैं? Are contracted. What do you call that? Constriction. So you will have constricted maxillary arch, maxillary constriction, and a distraction. There will be maxillary wide maxilla. Okay, so you need to remember these malocclusion along with the name. I'll just try to explain it once again so that it is more clear. Okay, so FH plane is like this. Attraction will lead to deep bite. Abstraction will lead to open bite. This is clear. In protraction and retraction, orbital plane is like this. Protraction will lead to class 2. Retraction will lead to class 3. Retraction of maxilla. Okay, I'm just talking about maxilla right now. In sagittal plane, the sagittal plane is here. So contraction will lead to constricted maxillary arch. Distraction will lead to a wide maxilla. So this is how you correlate with the Simon's classification. Okay. Okay. So Simon classification ke bare mein a few more things. It is also called craniometric classification and skeletal classification because it is talking about planes and skeleton. Next, orbital plane जो है, it follows the Simon's law of canine. What is it? The orbital plane runs from the distal of the canine. यहाँ पे अगर canine है, so it runs from the distal aspect of the canine. Second and the third thing that he talked about is gnathostatic models, which is very important. What is gnathostatic models? Gnathostatic models is the maxillary arch. Remember, it is just about the maxillary arch. The maxillary cast base is parallel to FH plane. Okay, that is gnathostatic models. We don't talk about mandibular cast, we just talk about the maxillary cast. So in gnathostatic models, the maxillary cast base is parallel to the FH plane. Okay, so this is gnathostatic models. Everyone is clear about the Simon's classification? Law of canine. What is law of canine? Law of canine is that this orbital plane that we're talking about. So if you take the canine, if you think of the canine to be here, so canine is the corner tooth. So canine ke distal side se wo jayega. Just imagine, okay, I'll just show you here. Okay, so this is my canine and distal side. So if you have to consider the orbital plane, then you just take this distal canine as a point here, and you have to think of a plane in this direction. Okay, so all your anterior 6 are going to come in this plane. So it is going to be like here. Okay, and it is going to cut through the distal are the canines. Okay, so all the anterior 6 teeth are going to come outside the and in front of the orbital plane. Okay, so Simon's classification is clear. A lot of questions are asked. This is why I'm just asking again. Simon's classification is clear, I guess, because we are running. I'm short of time. Thanks, Dr. Muskan. Now, Ekman's prophet, you need to remember what all are the stages. First is dentofacial appearance. Okay. Second is teeth and arch form. Third is transverse relationship, sagittal relationship, and vertical relationship. Okay. So Ekman and prophet followed a Venn diagram. वेन डायग्राम क्या होता है जहां पे हम ज्योमेट्रिक शेप्स लेते हैं और एक के अंदर एक को प्रेजेंट कर देते हैं. सो द आउटसाइड इज dentofacial appearance, which is symmetric and asymmetric. You have to see it is disproportionate or proportionate. What all do you see in that? You see the incisor display, you see the profile, and you see the lips. You need to remember it. How you need to remember it is you make this diagram and try to see that. The second is teeth and arch form, in which you see the alignment and the symmetry. You see spacing and symmetry, and you see crowding and asymmetry. The third, this you can remember by TSV. Okay, transverse, sagittal, vertical. So TSV हमने ना कल भी पढ़ा था. If you remember, anyone have the can you remember TSV somewhere? Yesterday we read about TSV. Do you remember? Anyone? Do you remember where did we read about TSV? MDH. Yes. So it is MDH. So width, depth, and height. So this is what you can follow from the face. So you can remember it from there. This is the beauty about learning with such a big group, that you can see that. Yes. So जैसे face में होता है ना, first is transverse, then is sagittal, then is vertical. ऐसे Ekman Prophet में है TSV, transverse, sagittal, and vertical. So you remember it like this. Okay, it would be easier for you to remember. Now, pitch, roll, and yaw. This is a very, very, very important concept. And we have just 5 minutes left. Still, I would want you to understand this. Okay. Now, pitch, roll, and yaw. First, I'm going to tell you a story about this. So what happened is, we won this quiz. I was in PGI and we were in third year, and we won this quiz. This is the largest quiz that happens, and it is like quiz happening between all the colleges of India, and we won this quiz in PGI. This is me. This is one of my friends, Dr. Sohil, and this is Dr. So what happened was, in this PGI question, there was a question in pitch, roll, and yaw. ये 2 बार आया था क्वेश्चन, एंड बोथ ऑफ द टाइम्स वी गॉट इट रॉन्ग, एंड दैट वाज द रीजन, लाइक इट वाज लाइक हम लोग बिल्कुल इस पे आ गए थे. We were on a verge of losing this, and this is why I was very much interested to understand pitch, roll, and yaw. Now I'm going to show what is pitch, roll, and yaw. So pitch, roll, and yaw are kind of rotations. They are rotations along planes. Okay, so pitch you see here. So what is this? This is an axis. This is an axis. Okay, so pitch here is shown into the transverse axis. You understand transverse now. Now yaw is shown into the vertical axis, and roll is shown to be in the anteroposterior axis. All with me right now? I need you to answer me here. Okay, so pitch is shown to be in the transverse axis. This is a photograph from Prophet. Yaw is shown to be on the vertical axis, and roll is shown to be on the anteroposterior axis. Now let's see what is written below this diagram. In addition to the relationship in transverse, anteroposterior, vertical planes, there is rotations. These rotations are pitch, viewed as up and down deviations around the anteroposterior axis. Hello, I'm so sorry. I was lost for a few seconds. Can you hear me now? Hello, can you hear me now? Yeah, I'm so sorry. Okay, I'll just go back to my presentation. Okay, so here we are. Can you see the slides? Can you see the slide? Okay, I'm really sorry. I was caught. Okay, so what is written? What is the text written is pitch is viewed as up and down deviation around the anteroposterior axis, which in fact is false. Then roll. Roll is used as up and down deviation on the transverse axis, which is again false. So these two things are wrongly given. Okay, this I identified after losing, like after just on a verge of losing on national competition. This is why ये दोनों question मैंने गलत किए थे because I always try to understand the concepts. I'm not really a person who would just scram it. So I would want you to understand. Pitch is you just put your fingers. You just put your fingers inside your ear and you do like this. So this is a transverse axis. Like to understand, this is the transverse axis. This is the transverse axis, and this is an up and down. Roll is on an anteroposterior axis like this, and yaw is like this. Okay, so yaw is like this, pitch is like this, and roll is like this. Okay, so I am going to tell you what happens in pitch, roll, and yaw. So what happens in pitch? So if you're moving your jaw up and down, what will happen? Deep bite or open bite? What will happen to the upper jaw? Now imagine your upper jaw is moving. So if you're placing your fingers inside your ears and you're moving your jaw down, it will lead to deep bite. If you're moving your jaw up, it will lead to open bite. Now imagine your axis is this, and you're going to roll your face like this. What will happen? What will happen if you roll your face like this? So there'll be change in the midline. So if midline is here and you roll like this, if your jaw rolls like this, not head, your jaw rolls like this. So there'll be midline shift on the left side. There'll be midline shift on the right side. Now, if there is roll, now this is the axis. Okay. So what will happen if your jaw moves like this? There'll be a cant. Okay. There'll be a cant. And if your jaw moves like this, there'll be a cant in this direction. So these are basically the rotational malocclusion of open bite and deep bite, of midline axis, and of cant. Okay, now this is what is true. Now you don't need to remember the truth. You have to be very smart in asking the questions. Why? Because questions may aapka in book se aayega. Okay, the question is going to come from the book. The question is not going to come